environment has affected Luke's surfing at all? I'd say not a bit.
Doesn't really look like it. In fact, he's probably enjoying some parts of his surfing more than ever.
As that cut back to reverse to finish that one off for Luke Egan. Any of you doubters out there know he's just as hot as always. And up and riding, first wave of heat number 5 for Danny Wills.
Wow, well, look at Willsy coming around the section here, riding a totally different board than what he did this morning. He had that very flat rocket small wave board out there this morning, and he surfed an okay heat, didn't he?
He had a go at it, Mr. Danny Wills. Still there, 9.6, so he did get third in his round 1 heat. And trying to redeem himself a little bit here.
Absolutely. And as we begin to head into heat number 5, round 2, I'd like to welcome back to the commentary booth none other than San Clemente's, well, most treasured son, Dino. Dino, thanks for joining us again, mate.
And Nick's going to go pop out the back and
Nick.
See what's on in the lunch trailer. Give us a shout if there's anything good, William. I'm starving. There's not. Okay, thanks, GT.
Well, Dave, it looked like there's quite a bit of waves in those last few heats.
It's been firing. There's been little lulls in the sets out there, but it's been pretty much nonstop action. And as we say it, well, here it goes. Yuri Sodre out the back. We'll see if we can get a closer angle on this one. Right now, you got the wide shot. Yuri's just surfed his way out of the screen and went down on a backside floater attempt there, though.
Yeah, it's surprising. The swell has just hung in there great for us today. And, even though the tide's, over the halfway point on the way up, it's still seeming to pump a lot of waves in here.
Great sets when they do come through out the back. It is getting a little fatter, so the boys are kind of moving on to the inside section here, which was about where they were at the peak of the low tide. So I think we've still got at least 2 more heats worth of surfing in us, Dino, and who knows, this swell, it arrived late. It was supposed to be big. It was, about half this size this morning, so could be surfing through the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah, it looks like it's definitely holding up. I mean, that last heat had plenty of waves. Let's keep hoping for more and more waves in this next couple heats here.
Yeah,
that last heat was interesting with Luke Egan and Dean Morrison. Luke kind of semi-retired and opting to get a wild card into this event. And
well, he had to defend his title because the event, of course, was called off last year in 2005, and Luke was our 2004 winner. And after the dredging, Mother Nature took her course once again and has put this sandbar to absolute perfection back in place. So how could Louis pass up the chance to come back and have at her one more time?
Yeah, it looked like in that heat, there was a lot of waves ridden, and you got to wonder if Luke was a little maybe rusty or something, because some big scores were potentially in that heat, and he looked like he had a couple opportunities but didn't really make the best out of them.
Well, luck could have come into play. Maybe he was a little bit out of form. Maybe he didn't want to get in the way of the world title race, but I mean, Dean is not in the hunt for the title, but definitely up towards the top 16. I don't think that actually came into play. Let's just put it down to bad luck, I guess.
Yeah,
or Dean Morrison that was absolutely on fire.
Absolutely. I think, Luke's done so much for the sport. It's amazing. He's a true champion. Won lots of events. I think he'd been on the tour like 18 years.
Yeah, just as long as Aki.
Yeah, he's
forever.
He's a
and
true,
he didn't take a break in the middle like Aki did either.
Yeah, he's a true legend. It's the surfing world owes him a lot of thanks. I mean, he's done so much for the sport, and
now is doing so much for his sponsor Billabong as well.
Yeah, he's
putting it back in.
He's got a full plate for sure, no doubt about it.
It sounds like he's finding plenty of things to do, keep himself busy now that he's off tour. Aside from the office work, did he say something about taking up skateboarding again? I don't know if you're listening in on that interview or not, but sounds like Luke is having a heck of a time as a Billabong Australia marketing manager and as the Billabong Pro Mundaka wildcard. So his title defense run is over, and back out in the lineup, Yuri Sodre.
Oh, nice off the top for Yuri, the youngster from Brazil. Another big off the top out the back there. And as he races down the line, Dave, it looks like a wave's still really good out there.
Plenty of size. I mean, easily twice the size of what the boys paddled out into this morning. So the swell really has filled in. And Yuri just going to town. Now, Yuri coming into this heat was sitting down in the 40s, possibly one of the unluckiest surfers on tour, because always a threat. Threw down an excellent wave score, 9.67 in his round 1 heat, I believe, in Trestles, a perfect 10 in his round 1 heat in Mexico, and didn't make it through either of those heats.
Wow, that's a beautiful shot of the Water Patrol there. You know, how's that execution on that pickup?
Well, that's Mr. Gary Elkerton, king of froth. And over to GT for a quick interview in 3, 2, 1.
You kind of forced it once or twice here. And then there was one that kind of ran away from you. That could have made a difference. Anybody?
Go, GT, go. We're having a few times.
All right, I'm standing here with Luke Egan. Luke Egan, sorry for the abrupt start right there. So, Louie, you got to be stoked getting out there and having some fun.
I'm just stoked. It's 5 feet and good, and I got out there with just me and Dino out. Had a few opportunities, but I tried too hard. I pushed the envelope a couple of times where I probably should have just taken it easy. I was too excited.
You're frothing. Nobody would accuse you of frothing.
No, never.
Now, so, you know, now that your job's taken into a little bit more of an advisory role,
Yeah.
I mean, was it tough for you to kind of get back into that kind of game, if you will?
Hey, I only came to Mundaka to surf it if it got like that, so I'm happy. You know, I was just out there to have fun and, you know, try and get a result. Unfortunately, I didn't. Made some pretty simple mistakes. I should have just taken it a little bit easier on a couple of those waves, and but I can't help myself. I just had to try and smash it. But you know, it's how I surf these days. I'm more of a free surfer than a contest surfer. But I was just stoked that I came here wanting to get it as big as that and as good as that, and I did. So I'm stoked.
So does that mean now we're going to get you in the commentary booth for a little webcasting?
Yeah, I'll back to work now.
Okay. You're done, mate. Get out of your suit. Back onto the set. It's always good to see you, Luke. And you know what? Whether you won or lose, it was just fun to see you give it a whack.
Thanks, mate.
Okay. Cheers, Luke Egan. So you'll be seeing a little bit more of Louie on the webcasting stand now that he's been eliminated. But a crowd favorite, and we'll see if we can't pick up with Dean Morrison as he makes his way up. So we'll send it back to Dino and Mailman now.
All right, and just in time for the smoker from Danny Wills, but did he even pull that takeoff, Dino?
That wave was pretty solid on the
Doesn't
takeoff.
look like it. That was heavy, and Danny not holding back at all. So, hey, great interview there with GT. Obviously, Luke not disappointed at all, and good news for us because that makes one more commentator to add to the English webcast team. So, all right, we'll be looking forward to having Luke up in the booth with us, of course, a little bit later on, perhaps in the day, if not in the contest. Meanwhile, Yuri Sodre will be sitting out the back with priority now, I believe, after Danny would have lost priority on that last one. Looks like.
Well, currently we're in heat number 5 of round number 3.
No, round 2.
Round number 2.
No, that's all right. This is the first of the sudden death rounds, and a 2.0 and a 7.5 for that last wave of Yuri Sodre. So fairly similar to some of those waves of Dean Morrison, just a touch less radicality out of the Brazilian compared to Dino's, and a 4.83 to start things off for Danny Wills, and a 0.33 for that quick trip down to Davy Jones's locker.
Definitely early days in the heat. Plenty of time left, with 16 minutes remaining, and plenty of waves coming in. Looks like there's a set out the back. It's unbelievable how the swells just keep pouring in. It's I think they were a little skeptical on how it'd be mid to high tide, and it's definitely still coming in. And you look out the back, it looks like a paddler opting not to go, but.
That was Yuri Sodre was looking at that one. Danny Wills wants to see what he can do with it halfway through. It's kind of what Dean Morrison did. What's he got for us, Dino?
Looks like he's screaming around down the line there, and a nice big carve off the top from the youngster from Byron Bay, and another big snap off the top as he's going through the inside bowl then, and another vertical, kind of getting stuck a little bit on the outside there, and looks like he's going to do a big old airdrop floater.
Ooh, that's going to score some points on. Right behind him, Yuri Sodre answering back. The Brazilian really on form in this heat anyways. He had a pretty good one earlier on. Looking for the barrel. Can he get the cover up? No. And just working this one down to the end. Well, his last wave was a 7.5. How do you think that compares, Dino?
That was a nice off the top through that inside
still
section
going.
there. Man,
Brazilian
what a wave he
energizer
picked
bunny.
up.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, wave choice really coming into play here. And Yuri's still going. He's just kicked out at the end of that one. He's actually into the river mouth. And Gary Elkerton, it looks like, has just been following along right next to him. Here's that pickup, but that was easily a 300-yard wave that he's just surfed there. He's literally in the river mouth now. Oh.
Amazing wave selection there from the young Brazilian. Caught that wave, all the way from the outside, all the way through to the bay there.
And we thought Danny Wills' wave was a good one. I can't wait to see what that scores because, of course, length of wave doesn't factor into the criteria anymore, but he was absolutely going to town on that thing for over 200 meters.
Yeah, you got to think, he did do some really big turns all the way through to the inside.
Yeah, Yuri definitely needs a big result as well. He's sitting in the 40s. And 2-1 over to G.
Well, Mr. Dean Morrison, looking a little too comfortable out there for a chance. You just really gave it heaps.
Yeah, there was a lot of waves out there, and Louis actually said to me, it's kind of hard to surf out here, and I went, yeah, it is. It was hard to get in position on the wave, but if you got the right one, it was, it was easy. But yeah, I was just glad I got two good ones.
Well, the funny thing is we were talking about before we picked up the interview, your best wave might have been one that you kind of caught halfway out, and you still hit it 10 times.
Yeah, actually, I didn't know where I was on the wave. I just seen it was a good set, and I said, I'm going to go. So, and fortunately it worked out for me.
Now, do you have a lot of experience out here, Dean?
No, not really. I've been coming here for 5 years, but we've probably surfed it, I can count on one hand how many times I've surfed it, so not too much.
And so now, surfing against Luke, kind of Gold Coast guy, you as well, did he try and pull any, pecking order kind of stuff on you?
No, I was at the Gold Coast before him anyway, so there's not really. He was really good out there, and that was a hard heat for me. I went out there and knew I had to surf on my game, and fortunately I was able to do that, and it was good. Thanks, I get out of Pete. You.
Well, congratulations, Dino. Go get dry, man. I'm keeping you here for a minute. So Dino's calling local Gold Coast pride on Louis right there. That's a big story in itself. All right, back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, GT. Just saw the end of another ride from Australia's Danny Wills, former world number 3. And scores are in for those last two waves of Yuri Sodre, 7.5 and an 8.0. And Danny, a 4.83 in his second to last ride, a 5.33. Looking for a combination score, Dino, looking for a 15.51.
Well, Danny just got a pretty decent wave, so we'll have to wait and see what that comes in at. But it's good to hear what Dean Morrison had to say. Definitely one of the most practice surfers on the World Tour. The kid surfs more hours than anyone on the tour. If you you go down to the event before the event starts, he's always out there, and it's interesting to hear what he has to say about Mundaka for sure.
It was pretty funny. It kind of sounded like he was psyching Luke out a little bit. Yeah, Luke, it's it's kind of hard to surf out here. Oh, by the way, I just got a 9.0.
Yeah, I doubt that Luke lets much phase him at all. If anybody's doing the psyching, it's him. He's pretty smart character.
All right, and we're apparently coming back in the vision. There we go. Still Dave Mailman, Dino and Dino here in the booth with me. Hopefully we'll be getting Mr. Mike Parsons and or Mr. Luke Egan here in a little bit as well. Of course, Parsons told us that there's still plenty of swell out there, but he didn't give us any idea whatsoever of how many heats we'll be running in this round 2. We are into heat number 5 of the second round of the Billabong Pro Mundaka. Still plenty of action to come. Danny Wills is 6.33 on that last one, and to match up with the 8.5. So Danny now needing a 9.17. And Dino, looks like we got a little lull in the action here, so we can go over to the email board to everyone who's joined us and wanted to hear a little Basque. Algunon, that means hello, how are you? just fine. I have no idea how we say that. Eskarikashko means thank you very much. So a big Eskarikashko out to everyone listening to us on the World Wide Web. Plenty of people want to know who's coming up in the next heat. Well, it looks like we will be sending out the next heat with number 6, B. Durbridge and Adrian Buchan. Any San Clementia Mafia members writing in to give a what's up, Dino?
I think it's pretty early in the morning there.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. Well, some of the boys from the OC were on earlier in the day after they just come home from the bars. To Javier from San Diego, there we got an SD boy who wants to know why we don't have GT announce the entire contest because we're a little bit dry. Yeah, well, you know what? Other people are telling you, GT, to throw some Valium in your lunch so you chill out a little bit. But our Mr. San Diego man, absolutely loving you. It's easy to just do those color commentary from down on the beach, you know. It's reporting, exactly. He's the reporter. We're the commentators. So two different sets of eyes on the action.
Stay classy, San Diego.
San Diego loves GT. Yes, you do, my friend. Yes, you do. So out in the water, yellow Yuri Sodre looking for a big result here in Spain. He's sitting in the high 30s on the world rankings, but looks
like
right
a really
right now.
Looks like a big race there for that that 25 to 33 or 21 to 33 range. You know, you got Hedgie in the 33rd spot. You know, and he's definitely looking.
When
to get a
Hedgie's in
result,
33rd, that tells you something. It means that it's a really tight year out there on the WCT, on the Foster's ASP Men's World Tour. And not many of the boys have re-qualified through the WQS. Actually, right now, the only two surfers even close to qualifying on both tours are Travis Logie and Victor Hibas. Travis in the better position. Actually, Travis in the better position on the CT. Victor in the better position on the QS. Victor's in the top 10 on the QS right now. But everyone else really just letting it all hang out in the wind.
Yeah, and then you got to wonder about those wild cards at the end of the year too. You know, you got to think that Ace Buchan's going to get one for sure.
Have to give an injury wild card to Ace because
he was out of the first half of the year. I think he missed
only
6 events.
I think he's only surfing his 3rd WCT right now in his rookie year. How gutted would you be? Qualify for the CT, and a month before the whole tour starts in your rookie season, did he do his knee or his ankle?
Ankle, I think. I think he did his ankle, and he might have did it in Brazil. Looks like we have a paddler out the back paddling and not able to catch it.
It was Danny
It
Wills.
does look like the tide is filling up quite fastly, but
hey, fat 4-footers, still way better than what we were looking at in Baguio yesterday. So you'd have to think we'd want to keep running a few more heats of this round if we can. Get him out of the way. Yuri out the back with priority. Having a look at this one. Dino, cameraman, and production crew. Let's go back to the action in the water. Enough of looking at our... There we go. Yuri.
Wow. That was he got quite a bit of drive on that bottom turn, able to make it around that section as a youngster from Brazil getting caught on that 3rd turn, but he picked a great wave there, Dave.
Yeah, he did. Now, wave choice, definitely a serious and defining factor out in the lineup this afternoon. Choice of equipment as well. It actually looks like Yuri's getting a lot of speed out of his boards, too, and that's made a difference in some of these heats. Saw in Tom Whitaker's heat, actually, against Iratarina Tufa. Looked like Tommy was just riding a bar of soap through the bathtub, to use another horrible cliche that we were using earlier on. And Ira was just kind of getting stuck, and looks like Yuri's boards are working all right as well.
Yeah, Tom definitely put it to it a couple of those waves, man. He belted that last one like 5 times off the top, looking in really good form.
Dean Morrison looked like he was on good equipment too. And this one down to the 5-minute and 30-second mark. So Yuri Sodre needing a big result here in Mundaka. Looks like he could be making it through to round 2, but you never want to count Danny Wills out too early on in a heat. Needing a 9.17, 5 minutes remaining. Realistically, time to get 2 high-scoring waves and turn things on its head for Yuri Sodre, but It's going to be a big call as we come down to the 5-minute mark. Once again, Danny now sitting out the back with priority, looking for a 9.17. There's
Beautiful shot of a gorgeous spectator there.
Local ladies
in Spain. Another shot of the water patrol.
And someone wanted to know why the camera didn't show Yuri's wave. Well, unfortunately here we don't have the 9 cameras and the 20 support staff that they had at the Boost Mobile. We're working with a few, quite a bit fewer cameras here at the Billabong Pro in Mundaka. And we try and bring it as much to you as we can, you guys, but we can only show one camera angle at a time. And sometimes we just have to make a choice, and on that one, Yuri got the short end of the stick. So
yeah, it looks like the tide is filling in quick here. I'm sure Mike Parsons is up there, pacing
having
around.
a look at it with Perry. Yeah, the two of them definitely not whispering sweet nothings into each other's ears, but whispering plenty of things. So, Perry, what do you reckon? We got another 45 minutes left. And, of course, Craig Sage, our Billabong Spain key member of the team here from Mundaka, runs the local Billabong store and has plenty to do with Billabong in the country of Spain where we are, in the Basque Country. So the three of them will be up there scratching their heads and wondering what to do and how fast especially the tide is going to come up and when exactly Mundaka will turn itself off for the evening.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely pumped for us, and, we saw lots of great surfing. 7-time world champion Kelly Slater, making it through his heat, his round 2 heat. Is actually his first appearance of this event, and he came out, guns blazing, big turns out the back, and pretty much demolished the young wild card Corey Arambidi. And then, obviously we have all the other guys in the title race already sitting in round 3, so we are definitely going to have a really good event here moving into the 3rd and 4th rounds, as the title race is definitely on tap.
Well, the title race, I guess, mathematically before this contest went all the way back to 10, but realistically between the top 5 guys in the rankings. And, yeah, it's all on. Kelly Slater, Taj Burrow, Andy Irons, Mick Fanning, and Joel Parkinson all through to round 3. So plenty of action will be coming up over the next few days. Hopefully we could, I don't know, depends on how many heats we can get out of the way this afternoon, but with a little luck we could be seeing some early heats of round 3 tomorrow, but realistically probably in 2 days' time once again, because here in Mundaka, as we've seen over the last, since 1999 when Billabong brought the event down here for the first time, tide definitely plays a major factor, and we can't run on the high tide. So whereas usually we'd easily get a full round 16 heats out of the way in a day, we need to be really lucky with the tide and hours of daylight to get that same result here.
Absolutely. And as you can see, the waves are definitely slowing down with the tide coming in. Still plenty of opportunity for big scores.
Yeah, and we have had some lulls in between the sets. It kind of turns off for 5 minutes, then it turns back on, and actually it looks like it could be turning back on right now, Dino, with 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining in this one. Danny's still needing a 9.17, and he is sitting out the back with priority. Yuri with an 8.0 and a 7.5 has a commanding lead in this one, but hey, sets are on the way, and Danny has one last shot at it with 1 minute remaining.
Yeah, Yuri started this heat off, kind of real like unassuming, and just plucked off that first one, and and then he backed it up with that 8-point ride. If you look, it looks like Danny Will's paddling up and riding, Dave.
And yes, he is bottom turning. Nice carve off the top there from Danny, but he's really going to have to go to town to get a 9.17. That would be one of the top 5 wave scores of the event.
Whoa.
Great turn there. And
blistering off the top there.
Unreal floater, maybe if he'd been able to make the section. And here we are back to Yuri Sodre using his priority out the back. Well, as we come into the last 15 seconds here, this should and very well likely is the victory lap for Brazil's Yuri Sodre, looking for a big result here in Mundaka to keep his hopes alive for requalification through the WCT. And he's just given himself one more shot by taking out